Well, hello, and welcome to Preparing to Survive and Thrive Homesteading Channel, Charlie B. So, what are we up to today? Well, guess what? We're going to answer that age-old question of what's for dinner. So, it's asked at every home, just about every evening. So, what are we having today? Well, let's see what I got down here. We are going to do some catfish, and we're going to fry that up. And we're also going to do some Brussels sprouts. I've already cut these guys up. And I am going to put these in some oil, some salt and pepper, and some spices, and then I'm going to bake those in the oven. So come along with me, and we'll see how it's done. Okay, so we've got our Brussels sprouts here. They have been draining, and I also put in some butternut squash to kind of add a nice pretty color to it. So now I'm just going to bake these in an oven at 375 for about an hour. What I'm going to do with these is I'm going to take some avocado oil. You don't have to use avocado oil. You can use whatever type of oil you would like. I'm going to pour this in here a little bit. And some garlic powder. That a good shake. You got to have some garlic on your food. And of course, all of this is garlic, the salt and peppers, all to taste. So doing my pink Himalayan salt and some black pepper. I'm just going to mix this guy up until we get everything pretty much coated, because most of the oil has kind of went down to the bottom. And then, like I said, I'm just going to put it on a foil-lined baking sheet, and then I'll go in an oven set at 375 for an hour. Okay, and I will bring you back when I start making the fish. Yum, the catfish. Catfish, catfish, can't wait. So we'll be back in a minute. Okay, so this is what the fish looks like after I get it out of the pack. It's just chunks of catfish fillets. And I have a couple different types of fish fry here. Breading. I actually mix them together. So this is a traditional cornmeal for fish and shrimp. I'm just going to put some of this on, and then I'll add some Cajun to it. Now, my daughter would prefer that I would cook everything in this, but I'm not going to, because it'll be too hot for my hubby and probably a little bit too hot for me too. And if she wants it hotter, she can literally put some of this guy on it after she gets out of the skillet. So I'm going to just cook this in some avocado oil with some butter. So I'm just going to do some fish fry on here. And I'm going to get it mixed up, and then I'm going to start adding to it. Don't really, how much you put down really depends on how much fish you have. I don't want to put this on too thick, because that is really not fun when you have too much cornbread filling or outer shell whenever you're trying to cook fish, because it just, it doesn't taste right. At least not to me. But I'm just going to go ahead and put this like this all over it. When I get a few of these pieces done, I'll go ahead and drop them in the oil. Now, this is pretty much the only fish my daughter will eat is catfish. So, and I told her I'd fry it, so she's actually going to eat it. Now, with these batters, I normally don't add anything else to it. Sometimes I'll go ahead and add, of course, extra garlic or peppers or something like that. But this is actually pretty good fish fry, so I don't really try to go overboard with it. So sometimes the seasoning's good enough just the way it is. So, okay, let me bring you over, and we're going to get some of this into the skillet. Okay, so let's get some of this in here. It's pretty sizzling. I had it up higher, and I had to turn it down. So start off with a pretty good thick piece. Can you hear it sizzle? Woo! Just splashed my hand. It's hot. Let me put these in the pan and we'll be back shortly. Okay, so these guys have been in there for about 30 minutes. And I'm going to go ahead and up the temperature up to 400 so I can get them crispy because they are cooking really nice and fast. And then we'll be getting ready to eat here shortly. Okay, so I am going to flip the fish. That's perfectly done on that side. I don't want to overcook them because you don't want your fish to be all dry and yucky. There we go. So we're going to let this cook for a few more minutes and we'll be back. So I'm going to start pulling some of these guys off plate, the fish fillets. See how nicely that looks? You want it a little crispy, but you don't want it burnt. Now this one is really thick, so I'm going to turn it on its side and leave it in there for a little bit longer because I don't want it to be raw in the center. This one's pretty thick too, so I'm going to flip this one over. And I'm going to let these guys cook a little bit longer and go ahead and add the last three to the pan. So let's taste or test our Brussels sprouts here. Pretty good and done. A little crispy there. I hate mushy Brussels sprouts, so that's how we want them. And they're very hot. And the butternut squash is perfect. Okay, so let me get myself a plate up. I'm still cooking up the rest of the fish. And we'll be doing a taste test. And yes, my mouth is watering. Okay, so the plate that's in the picture is actually my husband's plate, and this is mine. So let's do a little bit of showing here. You see how nice and flaky that is in the center? That's what you want your catfish or any fish to look like. You don't want it to be raw. You just want it to be nice and flaky. So let's do a taste test. My favorite part of the video. Yep. My daughter's already looking for her Cajun fish fry. Here you go. Fish is really good. And let's try some butternut squash. Very hot. Just pulled it out of the oven. And of course, the Brussels sprouts. It's amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. So, well, that's what's for dinner. And yes, I'm finishing frying up what was left in the bag. And remember, if you like my content, please like, share, and subscribe. And this is Charlie B signing out and answering your question of what's for dinner.